Assalamu alaikum guys, I hope you all are fine today. Today's video is all about the credibility interview of UK Embassy, and today we are getting tips and tricks of credibility interview in the UK Embassy from Kasia and Saule, who is Associate Director and Operational Manager in Uni Global. And so guys, let's get directly toward the broadcast video and we are getting tips from them.
First of all, thank you everyone for joining this session. Kasia and Saule, I have given a quick introduction of you both.
Hi Chani and hi everyone. I hope you can hear me well. So my name is Saule and I'm an Operations and Compliance Manager here at Uni. I've been working with compliance for over 4 years now, and together with my team, we take up to 100 suitability interviews or mock visa sessions a day.
There are any quick tips, things to remember, particularly for the applicants who are preparing for their visa UK interview? Kasia, if you can just go first.
I would like to add a few more things. Number one, technical. Make sure you know where your interview takes place and make sure you know how to get there. Make sure also you take time to get there. So if your commute is 30 minutes, make sure you take an hour, because you never know if there's going to be traffic, you never know what's going to happen. And if you miss your interview, that might end up bad.
Saule, I wanted to know if there are any general questions, generally which are asked in this UKVI credibility interview.
So while I wouldn't be able to say what questions are asked because every applicant might be asked absolutely different questions, I can help you with the topics that might be covered during an interview. So research topics that you should consider before coming to an interview is, first of all, research about the course you're about to study, and research about and remembering the courses you used to study before, or your work experience, or even your 12 plans. As well as your future plans. Think about your future plans and how do they connect to your course, your university and its location, the campus facilities, so everything about your university and your campus, as well as the country. Be also prepared to compare your university and your course to other universities and other countries.
Kasia, I was just thinking, many of the times this happens that the student is, maybe student is not understanding or probably not able to understand what immigration officer has asked. Now, this could be, particularly, I would say, network or could be an accent issue as well, because these are international students. What do you suggest? How do students should, react, or how should student revert for this particular situation?
So again, I would say honesty is the policy here. Students need to be honest and just say, could you please rephrase the question? Would you mind? I didn't understand. It isn't a bad mark on the student's account or on the student's performance if the student didn't understand the question. However, if the student, potential student, should I say, does not mention that at the time of the question and then proceeds to try and answer the question and doesn't answer the question in the end, that can definitely be marked as a obviously unanswered question or question not answered correctly. Let's also not forget that obviously caseworkers wouldn't be assessing the questions on the go. They wouldn't be giving any feedback. They're just sort of having a conversation with you, and they would be then reaching a decision on the basis of that conversation. So you wouldn't be able to sort of read a lot from their mind, whether they're understanding what you're saying to them. They just there sort of nodding their head, listening to you. I was part of a visa interview myself, and, I couldn't tell whether I did well or not. And that's sort of the main thing and worry for everybody. How have I done, and did I do well? So again, honesty is the best policy.
So much. So everyone here, I think what I got from Kasia's point, honesty is the best policy that you can have anytime in your any circumstances of life. Any interview that you are heading, being genuine is the right place where you are. So, Kasia, I wanted to know, okay, the first situation was if the student is not able to understand. The second is if the student does not know the answer, what could be, what is your suggestion in that case?
I would say before you decide that you don't know the answer, take a pause. Sometimes, I heard as well, lifting your head up can help you. As well, it's apparently psychological that lifting your head up can help you with reaching the answer. However, take a minute, and you can say, I just need 30 seconds. You don't have to be a robot and answer, at one breath. You can take a second to think about the question. The questions may be a bit more complicated. It may be sort of open-ended question where you need to give a bit more an open answer. So I would say take a pause, decide if you know the answer or not. If you do not know the answer, again, you need to be honest here and say, I do not know the answer. However, please, I'm more than happy to proceed, with the other questions. However, I would say on a positive note, I'm sure if you take a pause and think, there may be something that you will know, or something to say about that particular question. There is also obviously different ratio of questions, and I wouldn't, as Saule said earlier, we couldn't judge here or say exactly what will be asked and how it will be rated. We couldn't. However, what I've learned, even from the immigration course that I've taken, is that the answers itself have different priorities. So, for example, to give you an example, if you couldn't answer the question about tuberculosis test, it's something that you can learn quickly and take quickly upon arrival, and you still have time. However, if you can't answer the question why you want to study or why you want to come to the UK, obviously that may be the weightage of that question may be a little bit more important to the caseworker. Again, I wouldn't want to preempt what it is. I would just say, paying attention to the most important questions, which are you a genuine student? Do you really want to come and study? That's what UK immigration is interested in, really.
Thank you. I'm sure, that's going to help students if they, I'm sure, I'm sure we have followers, applicants who have joined us, and I'm sure they are well prepared for their interviews. But still, if the situation arises, how should you respond? And do not be panic, because, I think being human, we have right that we don't know certain things, and it's best to be genuine. It's best to be yourself. That you don't know the answer. And I think the second advice of Kasia, that was definitely meaningful. Take a pause. I'm sure you'll get some response in your mind, which you can definitely respond to the question that you were not knowing about the answer. To the people where the questions were not answered, we will definitely come back to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
Thank you.